Alright guys, in today's video we're going to be working on this Ryobi random orbital sander. It's an RS290G is the model. This is going to apply to the RS290 as well, probably some others. And so the problem we've got here, had a family member ask me if I could get this back into service. You can see that everything has disintegrated down here, so the backing pad has crumbled apart that normally I guess would sit like this, has disintegrated. And then the brake that would all these pieces here represent has disintegrated, and then as well the power cable is just disintegrating. It's some kind of sticky material, and if you touch it too long it'll make a black stain. So we're going to do all of that today. So we're going to go through and disassemble it and replace it with all OEM parts. So let's get started. We're going to start with a T25, pull these 4 Torx bolts, get what's left here of the backing pad, which is this kind of looks like maybe fiberglass material. So I'm just going to pull these T25s off. Hopefully we can get that off by hand. Yep. I'm just using my finger inside one of these vent holes to keep it from spinning while we release the fasteners. Alright, yeah, so there's that. So this all at one time was one piece and it just disintegrated. Alright, so that'll be the backing pad. Now what's left of the brake here is coming off as well, and we can just pull that off. The brake normally, so we can get some of these pieces out, would sit in these grooves, and we're going to have to open this up to get some of this debris out of here. To replace this, we got to separate the halves, and we have to separate the halves to replace this as well anyway. So let's go ahead and set this guy aside, what's left of him, and we'll grab these 4 fasteners before we lose them, set them over here. So up on top we've got 3 Phillips screws we have to remove. The depth of these is such that we cannot easily use an electric tool. You can see these go in about halfway here. The ones on the bottom, though, are worse. Let's pull these on the top first. One stubborn one. Go. And that should allow us to take this cover. Now there's this little switch here. Just want to see how it works before we take this cover off. And okay, so this is just an actuator for this switch. So just lift it out and put it back the way we found it and we'll be fine. So our power cord looks like it's held in by these 2 Phillips here, and then it just plugs in into the wiring harness. I'm going to go ahead and remove that while I'm here. So that means taking this Phillips screw out and taking this Phillips screw out. Now before somebody runs down to the comments section, no, the owner isn't interested in wrapping this with electrical tape or some other kind of hack. They just want to do an OEM part replacement. But you can see this is just getting all over me. It's really kind of gross, and it's very sticky, very sticky. All right, so I just want to take note of how this piece sits on here so we get it back in the correct orientation. And then this guy here we can remove once we separate the halves. All right. Now to take the halves apart, we've got another screw here, here, and here. And these are the ones that are really deep in here. This is kind of rusty as well, it looks like. And the debris just keeps falling out as we do this. So we're going to get some shop air and blow this guy out after we get him disassembled. All right. Just making sure that the corrosion hasn't compromised the head of the fastener, so we can reuse these. All right. Now with that out of the way, I'm just eyeballing this little dust thing here on the back. Wondering if we can take this off. Yep, good. And then this should just separate. Just looking to see if there's any other fasteners. Don't see any. Okay, good. It does just separate. It's just got a lot of crap on it from sawdust and pieces of the brake. For some reason we're stuck up here. I do not see any other fasteners. Oh, wait. Yes, there is another fastener right here. Maybe that's what's holding us up. I didn't catch these the first time. Just to pause for a second and show you, or not necessarily, to really pause, but just to hold up after I do this and show you what I'm using as a guide to tell this. I take this guy apart. I went to the Ryobi website. They have really good service information for their stuff, and so for the RS290 they give you a good parts explosion, and there's the backing pad with the 4 T25s we took off. There's the brake, and there's the power cord. And what I was using is this diagram to see, well, which of these fasteners do we need to separate this so that we can install this. And these two here are the ones I just removed. I just kind of missed noting them in doing this originally. All right, so with those two out of the way, there we go. Now everything's going to come apart easily. All right. So again, just tons of sawdust in here that we're going to want to blow out before we put this back together, right? I won't show you guys that necessarily and bore you, but you got this thing open, you're going to want to clean it out. Don't just put it back together with all this kind of crap in there. And then the same thing over here. We'll just leave the motor and fan in place, and we'll just take some shop air and try to blow all this crud out of here so that it's ready to be reassembled. So let me go get some shop air, blow this out, and we'll come back. All right, guys, looks 1,000 times better. Yeah, there's some pieces here and there. We're not going to eat off of it. We just need it cleaned up so that we can reassemble it. All right, so let's start with the power cord. So the neutral connects on to this piece here with the brush. All right, a little spade connector. And then the hot routes over to this switch. So we're going to have to get this switch to come up here a little bit. And then we'll do this spade connector. All right, so that's it for the decaying power connector. So what are we going to replace it with? First, we're going to kind of tuck this guy in here before he gets dislodged. Sit him down there a second. We got an NOS, or not an NOS, but a new Ryobi 391-430-05087. I'll put a link in the description for this. This is a genuine Ryobi replacement part. So it's just going to be reversing what we just did. So we're going to come up here. We're going to hook up the hot line on this spade terminal. And I route it back down just the way we found it. Route it back through here. It's got a little retainer built into the plastic case. This one's going to go right here. Okay, this one's going to go right here, right here. All right, and then we've got this rubber piece. It's a shame they don't sell just this. It's going to go right there. And we can't put this on until we put the halves back together, but that's basically how that piece goes. Now, let's do the brake. All right, so the brake is going to be our Ryobi part 030157001017. That looks like this, and you can see how it's meant to be pinched on both sides. Right, so you can see how these curve facing each side. So we'll slot these in and push it into place. One, two, three. Sorry, I can't get you guys a complete view here. Let me get this lined up, make sure they're all sitting, and I'll give you a shot of what it looks like. All right, so the ones on the outside are smaller. You see the width here? And then at each end is a longer one that accounts for both halves. Those are the two that sit here. And then you just kind of press it in until it stops. And it sits in just like that. And then it attaches here, here, and here as well. All right, so we've got this guy in on this half. Now let's take the other half that we cleaned up. And we're going to line these up and do the same thing. Let's make sure you get each one in the little groove. All right, there we go. And then we're going to test that each one's sitting in there. Now we can start putting our screws back in. All right, so we'll start with these guys. And then we'll do the ones on the top that secure the electrical wire. There's no torque value given by Ryobi for these, so just snug them up. Okay, and now we'll come up on the top here. This guy has worked himself out of how we had him. Just want to go ahead and put this back in before I forget. That sits just like that to actuate that switch. And then I'm just taking a look at this guy to make sure we have this routed where it's not going to get pinched. Right, so that's going to go there and there. This is going to sit there. Yeah, we should be okay. We just want to get this guy maybe to fit in this little groove here. And then be sure he won't get pinched. And then routed around there and there. And then this guy routed around there. Okay. And we're going to put this back on, this little plastic nylon retainer. And there's two screws for this are different than all the others. All the other screws have a pointed end on them. These guys have a flat cutoff. And then this guy here. And again, no torque value, just snug them up. And then we can put the top back on. Actually, you know what? Hold on, guys. I just realized here as I'm noticing that we've got some extra screws. We got to put those two I took off at the end back first. Here and here. Very important to not leave any fasteners hanging out. All right, now we can put the top back in. And again, no torque value, just nice and snug. Remember, you're going into plastic, so don't put a lot of force into it. This little guy almost escaped. Okay. Now, let's do the backing pad. Actually, we can put this little filter back on. Just like that. All right, so now let's do the backing pad. Make sure these are sitting nice and flush. Sometimes they pop out a little bit. Okay, this guy's going to be a 301-5700-1018. And that's what the correct backing pad should look like. Get that lined up with where these 4 T25s go. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Get this guy started by hand. And then we'll do an opposite corner so it doesn't spin on us. And then we'll do the other two. And just like all the other fasteners, no torque value. Just kind of hold it so it doesn't spin. Nice and tight, star pattern. And that's it. We're done. We make sure the switch operates correctly. Make sure that everything looks like it's nice and centered. Everything's tightened down, no missing fasteners. We clean up all this junk we have left over, and that's it. So I hope this helped you out, replacing the power cord, backing pad, brake, and disassembly and cleaning of a Ryobi RS290G. If you got questions or comments, leave them below. I'll try to help. If you found this useful and it helps you save some money in repairing your sander instead of buying a new one, I appreciate you paying it forward and hit that like button. And as always, thanks for watching.